let me set this up, this article I'm about ready to get into, for those of you that are new to the program, and this will help you understand why I'm going to tell you about this article. I have been telling you for a long time that colleges and universities have been colluding with government officials for decades to sell you a message which is increasingly becoming false. It was never completely true, but they got a lot of people to play the game, and so they made it true, that a degree is the best way to become successful. That's why, for decades, a lot of companies would require that you have a college degree for a white-collar job. Why? Did it make you better than anybody else? No. It's just what everybody did, because that's what they were told, right? So we look down on the trades. We look down on men and women that don't have a degree as though they are less than, and that's just a bunch of garbage. And we said, well, if you got a degree, you're going to be more successful. Not true. The degree doesn't guarantee anything. You still got to go work and be great. And so we created this false dream for the American people that if you go get a degree, you've done something special. I'm not taking anything away from anybody that has gone out and got a degree. In fact, I would say to our brothers and sisters that grew up in the lower class that had to overcome so much to do it, that alone is worthy. But it's not the degree. It's that they hustled and they did it. It's not the degree. The degree is just a piece of paper. It's become about status, not about success. That's all it is. It's status. It's a status symbol. And so here comes this story. And I've been telling you, a college degree is about status. A lot of parents want to tell all their friends and family members, well, we're so proud of Junior. He just got a degree from the state school, and we're just so proud of him. You know, and if Junior had gone to a welding trade school, well, what's Junior doing? Well, he's trying to find his way. He's out there welding. I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. It's total garbage. Maybe your kid loves welding, loves working with his or her hands and head at the same time. I mean, this is just nonsense. So anyway, more evidence that I'm right here. Vanderbilt, this is the headline. Vanderbilt, this is in the shadows of Nashville, okay, right here in our home area. Vanderbilt, big time school, academic. You know, if you walk on the Vanderbilt campus, your pinky goes up. It's crazy. You're not even trying, just out of control, just goes up. You know, the air is a little richer over there. By the way, incidentally, they asked me to come to the Vanderbilt campus and speak to some grad school students. I mean, irony of ironies. Lower middle class Ken Coleman. No college degree. College dropout Ken Coleman. I get invited to Vanderbilt, and I'm talking to all these med school grad students. I mean, these kids have got more intelligence in their pinky toe than I have in my entire brain. And yet they wanted me to come in and help them figure out which direction they were going to go in life. What? After all that money and all that time, you got to get this clown in there? What does that tell you? All right, here it is. Headline, Vanderbilt doubles down on criticism of U.S. News and World Report college rankings. University leaders are calling the methodology of the ranking, quote, an attack on the very notion of academic excellence. My pinky finger just went right up. Just whoop. Why is Vanderbilt and other college and university bigwigs so distraught? Because apparently U.S. News and World Report, which for decades has done a college and university ranking, and it's nothing more than marketing. And so all these colleges get all excited about it because they get out on the list. And so they're the top choice of all these parents and kids, and they're just racking in the tuition money through student loans, and it's big business. That's why this is a big deal. So apparently U.S. News and World Report, Alex, changed their rankings. And so Vanderbilt dropped in the rankings. Horror of horrors. Vanderbilt dropped in the U.S. News and World Report rankings, and the administration is upset. You know what they ought to be upset about? How crappy their football team is. That's what they ought to be upset about. If Vanderbilt wants to make more money, and all these schools want to make more money, you would do better having a good football program. But you're the doormat of the SEC. and you suck. But what are they worried about? Are they worried about a competitive football team? No. They're worried about their ranking in a stupid magazine that, by the way, nobody reads. Do you know anybody that reads U.S. News and World Report? I challenge you. Walk around for a week. You won't find one person. Nobody reads magazines anymore. Anyway, Vanderbilt stayed in the top 20 nationwide, but they fell 5 spots, and this has got them all upset. They overhauled the system, did U.S. News and World Report, with their ranking eliminating measures like class size, meaning smaller class size better, professor qualifications, the more degrees, the better. And then they added in things focused on how much student debt the students had and other socioeconomic factors. So the Vanderbilt chancellor's all upset. And he says the figure that they chose to drop Vanderbilt in the rankings, that this is skewed because they were focusing on how much student debt Vanderbilt students had. But he says, well, that was only among students who take out loans. The average doesn't include students who don't need to take out loans due to hundreds of millions of dollars in need-based aid that Vanderbilt awards annually. Okay, fine. So he goes on to say, these rankings are scaring people away. Oh, woe is me. How many of you join me in feeling so sad and outraged that Vanderbilt has dropped 5 spots, but still remains in the top 20 schools on U.S. News and World Report's rankings? Do you all hear the sarcasm in my voice, I hope? This is the dumbest case of outrage I have read in some time. 5 spots. Meanwhile, inflation is raging through our country. We have people who can barely afford groceries and gas. We have nearly $2 trillion of student loan debt. I could go on and on and on. And these eggheads from their ivory towers. By the way, it occurs to me, Alex, I probably won't get invited back to Vanderbilt after this, but I'll be okay. Let these eggheads care more about their fortunes and their futures. I'll tell you what they're worried about. This guy's not worried about students being scared away from Vanderbilt. This guy's worried that he may have to drop his tuition. They're worried about status. They're not worried about educating young people. They're not worried about success of their students. They're worried about their status. This is so egregious, this boo-hooing over dropping in the rankings. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm a football fan, so some of you, this may ring hollow. I love college football. I could understand if Vanderbilt was undefeated in the SEC and wasn't ranked in the top 5. Let's say they knocked off Georgia. That would be worth a letter because people care about college football. Nobody cares about the rankings of colleges and universities. This is all a scam. It's all a luxury tax. That's what the federal student loan program is. It's a luxury tax. Even if you can't afford it, we go, we're going to let you go to school. We're going to send you some federal money, and we're going to put a nice interest rate on it that you may never be able to catch up to. By the way, why is the federal government putting interest on loans? Anybody? Thank you, Nathan. He gives me the money sign. That's why. The federal government's not a bank. So if the federal government cared so much about our next generation getting educated, they'll give them the loan, but no interest. I see cars doing it all the time. 0% interest for what? Why is the government of all things charging interest? There's a question that we need to be asking. Why are we saying, the Biden administration saying they want to forgive student loans, and yet while they're posturing politically, they're allowing kids to sign up for student loans as I speak right now. So some get it, some don't. Come on, folks. I don't care what party you subscribe to. I don't care if you call yourself a liberal or a conservative. That ain't right. If loans are so bad they need to be forgiven, why are we still giving them out? Period. I'll tell you why. It's a luxury tax. It's a hidden tax on the American people, and it's out of control. We got to do something about it. And this kind of crap right here, please, spare me, Vanderbilt. Spare me. You're going to be okay. Go have yourself some high tea and crumpets and calm down, Chancellor, and maybe think about why you're in this game to begin with.